Welcome to
Introverts Own Your Voice. I'm Tom Marcoux.
And I'm Johanna McLeod.
This episode is Power Up Your Compelling Brand Through Innovation. We're talking about both compelling brand and innovation. The best way to look at this is to turn this into verbs. What is innovation? Innovation is look at the problem or situation from another angle. So that's something concrete you can do. You can look at it, but you look at it from another angle. Now, compelling brand, well, we have a verb in there already. Compel. Now, some people shy away from this, like saying, I don't want to force anybody to do anything. But no, what you're doing is you get people to do something. You entice them. You engage them. You pull them towards you. And they want to go there.
What if they trip?
You pick them right back up. The old Asian idea is not just that you fell down 7 times. It's get up the 8th time. That's true. And that brings us to compel. Now, this is part of a big process that I do with my clients, and it takes a while, so I'm going to be brief here. We're going to cover just a couple of aspects of the whole process that I do with my clients. Now, I began with clients where all my clients say, I feel more confident having worked with Tom. But I discovered that in order to get them to the confident place, they needed all this support with logos and language on their websites and their speeches and their pitches. And it was all coming together around compelling brand innovation. And so that's what I do, compelling brand innovation. Somebody comes to me with an anemic brand, and we have to give it a transfusion, or we need to transform it. And it comes out of them. See, because of my decades of being a film director and then feature film director, all this is about bringing out the performance from the person, bringing out the truth. And now we're talking about brand, bringing out the truth of the brand out of the person. So the words comes from the person. Words, strategy, rehearsal. This is what I focus on. But the words come from the person. The brand, the essence of the brand comes out of the person too.
What if the person doesn't know what they're doing?
And it happens all the time. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to refine it. They don't know what is the essence of it. And that's why we discover things. I was just working with a client today, and I was helping them pitch, and we were going through it, and at a certain point in their expression, they naturally gestured, join us, with the hands coming from outside and their hands coming towards their chest, like, come toward my heart, join me. And the idea was, there it is. We found it. There is the gesture. That's natural.
Brilliant.
That's compelling. And that's compelling brand innovation. So I wasn't trying to, like somebody else saying, oh, you should do this. This technique will manipulate the audience to feel this way. No, I was bringing the natural stuff out of the person. So we're going to use the word compel. And every letter stands for a method.
I feel compelled to listen.
Excellent. This is great. And it's enticing you. It's engaging you.
Exactly.
Yes. C stands for conquer the noise. Back in 2007, this marketing firm called Yankelovich Incorporated.
That's a mouthful.
I agree. They suggested that the average modern person is exposed to around 5,000 ads per day. Now, it's got to be way more because of all of our interacting. You can't even work with your email without being hit with ads everywhere.
I was going to say the internet is full of them.
Advertising,
yes.
and
Ads.
messages. So you got to cut through the noise. You got to conquer the noise. You can't just cut through it, but you actually have to have something that is so compelling, enticing, engaging, that gets people's attention. It has to hit them in the heart. It can't be so shallow that it bounces off of them. I'll give you just one quick thing. People like to send out e-newsletter messages. People join your e-subscriber list. And many times people just don't even open up the message. So you have to have a great subject heading. One of the techniques that was shown in research, if you put C video in the subject heading, people are 19% more likely to open up that message.
Oh, wow.
When you say C video, because we're just curious, what video? O of compel is open the imagination. Now, some years ago, I had a particular girlfriend and she was late. I needed to open her imagination. So I said, okay. So I said, when I'm waiting for you, I'm like a puppy on a rickety wooden raft, floating in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, never knowing if a ship will come and rescue me.
Hopefully it's a cruise ship.
Yeah, then it'd be a nice ride on the way back.
And the mini bars are awesome.
Okay. So here's the thing though. Puppies. She likes puppies. I have her imagination. I have her attention. Open the imagination. When it comes to a brand, a compelling brand, it's going to be about hitting the person where they live. Not where they say they live, not what they talk about as, oh yeah, we are really into this particular value. Like someone says, yes, we focus on integrity, honesty. No, actually, for many people, they live in fear. They live in wanting to avoid pain. So if you engage them, once we have to cut through the noise, we have to conquer the noise, and then you engage their imagination, just imagine how safe and secure you will feel when you have the something security system in place, protecting you day and night. You engage them. Now the next detail I'm bringing to your attention is P of compel, pinpoint with engaging language and images. You can begin a pitch with picture this or imagine this. And therefore you're engaging them by giving them what's called a word picture. You help them see it. Now, of course, if you're using a slide deck in a pitch, you have images with you. I have this quote from a gentleman named Jonathan Bell that I'm going to share now that is really powerful about an idea, an image, engaging language. He talks about that the best brand names don't describe. They stand for a big idea, one that translates into emotional appeal. Nike is about winning. GoPro is about heroism. Apple is about simplicity and usability. That's his quote. I would say Apple is also about being cool and on the cutting edge and being on the inside. There's a lot of other things you can say about how Apple, basically like a religion. E stands for engage innovation. Earlier I said that what is innovation? It's looking from another angle. That's what innovation is. So what you got to do is you've got to have the opportunity to look from another angle and guide the person, the listener or the viewer, to look at it from another angle. I usually say with my client, I say image, question, story. So at the beginning of a pitch or a sales presentation, what you do is you give them an image. Janet comes home at 10:45 p.m. into her house where she lives alone, and she hears a creaking sound coming from, I'm already with you. I've already engaged you. Where is that sound coming from? And that's the thing. There's a question going on here. What is that sound?
Yes.
Who's making that sound? What room is it in? Image, question, story. Next is light up with a question. So that's kind of related to what we already talked about. But we can literally use a question like, how much better would your life be if you had the fill in the blank? If you could take care of the XY, how relieved would you feel?
Boy, I feel like I want to purchase something from you.
Well, that's compelling brand innovation. How could you survive a fill in the blank if you had fill in the blank there too? Some of us live on that level. When I was growing up, my father was always saying survival, survival, survival. And I really keyed into a word, thrive. I didn't want just to survive. I wanted to do something extraordinary. When I got a degree in psychology, I didn't want to know just about abnormal psychology. I wanted to know about self-actualization. How could you live on a higher level where you're expressing the best in you and fulfilling your destiny? So even when I was speaking on the college level at a conference, I was talking about self-actualization therapy, not overcoming some terrible thing. So my point here is this: with a compelling brand, and we do compelling brand innovation, we're talking about making your brand such a great and glorious solution that people are just enraptured, totally engaged in wanting to know more. If you say, my product does this, you want the person to have the response of, how do you do that? How does that happen? Tell me more about this.
I'm sure you'll tell us more.
Now is a good time for a Marcoux moment. That's when I share an excerpt from one of our 47 books up on Amazon. This book is Secrets of Awesome Dinner Guests. And it talks about what Walt Disney, Steve Jobs, Oprah Winfrey, Albert Einstein, Martin Luther King Jr., Helen Keller can teach you about success and fulfillment.
Oh, I already want to buy it.
Terrific. And it's also with the subtitle of The Power of Your Personal Brand.
Oh, wow.
So we're talking about branding. What I really like to talk about in terms of your personal brand and how to develop it and how to make it compelling is in this book. And on page 36, our excerpt begins with how to really engage people. And I talk about a 3-point process. So here's the excerpt. Don't sell, attract. Don't push, invite. Don't talk a lot, listen. And so let's go over into the part about don't push, invite. See, people buy for their reasons, not yours. In many cases, simple logical reasons to make a purchase are not enough to get someone to actually buy the product or service. So the idea here is that you ask the right questions and you paint a picture. So here's an example of a pro salesperson who would say, this new room sounds like a great addition to your home. So where would you like to start? Paneling, drapes, shelving? I can help mix and match if you like. When you're in this room, how do you want to feel? That's from the book, Secrets of Awesome Dinner Guests. And it's how they can teach you about success and fulfillment. And also, this is my book about the power of your personal brand. So Johanna, I'm curious, what are you going to keep from our conversation?
From all of the information you've talked about today, I think making a pitch very visceral, thinking about the nighttime, and then thinking about you're hearing something.
Right, so what you did was you immediately went into
The scenario.
Right, and you were talking about specifics about what time is it? So I said 10:45 at night, and you also emphasize what did you hear? A creaking sound? And that's all part of making a compelling brand. Now, compelling brand innovation, which I do all the time with my clients and also with audiences, is about getting access to what's inside you that moves you so that you can move the listener or the viewer. So thank you, Johanna.
Thank you, Tom.
For articles and videos, go to getthebigyes.com. Also, visit yourbodysoulandprosperity.com. We're glad that you heard this broadcast, and we invite you to
Click to subscribe.
and then you'll be supporting me and Johanna and our message.
And so now remember,
Introverts can show their best self with strategy.
I'm Johanna McLeod.
I'm Tom Marcoux.
Thank you.
Be well.
Bye.